What up, everybody? It's gonna be starting soon, man. Be ready. It's gonna be starting soon. Gotta get this thing started, man. Gotta get this thing started. What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing, man? For you members, man, I dropped a crazy video this morning. Crazy video. The super. Have you seen it? Well, it depends on what level you're on, but yeah. So I dropped a video. It's about California and 17,000 CDL holders in California. It's crazy. It's crazy, people. But you guys see the title, right? You guys see the title. Let me shout out one of my members in the building. The super. What's good, SoCal? What's good? What up, Marty, Josh, E-Rock? What up? What up? Yeah, make sure you hit the like button showing attendance, man. I was 5 minutes late. 5 minutes late, people. Yeah, my son, man, he's on his way to Six Flags Magic Mountain. Crazy kid. But if you guys have seen the title that I put a one in the chat. Put a one in the chat. Appreciate everybody saying hit the like button. I appreciate everybody. Put a one in the chat if you guys seen the title, man. I can't understand why a fire truck would need D.E.F. Well, here's the craziest thing, right? Now, I don't know how factual this is, but what I heard was when all those fires were happening, right? When all those fires were happening, um, now I don't see this being true, right? Because we have old ass trucks that still run in California. But you're all good, FJ. One of my members up in the building, one of the mentees. But I was told that fire trucks are trying to come from other states to help California put the fire out. And California wouldn't let the old fire trucks come in to put the fire out. Now, I don't seem like there's any truth to that because they'd have to go through state lines, go through the scales. There goes the fucking phone. I swear, bro. It don't matter how early in the morning and what day it is, man. Um, there's like so much that goes on in California that you guys hear stuff and it's really not the case, right? What up, 412? But let me get down to brass and tacks, right? We're sitting back, right? You guys all heard about the rollback on emissions on the semi trucks, right? So they're doing it. They're doing it to cars too. And so far, what I've seen and found was what we're thinking about a rollback, like no more D.E.F, no more this, no more that. I don't see that in the books. I don't see where you can legally delete a truck. I don't see none of that. But what I did see, so for those of you guys that probably don't know, in 2027, what up, Hound Dog? And 2027 was going to be really, really crucial for the trucking industry. Let me see if I can look some of it up. But I'm going to read it to you. But 2027 was going to be crucial for the trucking industry. But before I get into this dev shit, I want to show you guys something about these rates. Well, you guys might not want to hear about rates. You want to hear about rates real quick? Put a 1 in the chat. If you don't, put a 2. I have 2023 numbers and 2024 numbers, and so far 2025 numbers. If you guys want to hear about the rates real quick and the changes and different things, and I used to say, hey guys, trucking is a $700 billion industry. Well, that's changed. That's changed, right? All right, I see the ones. So the U.S. trucking industry grossed approximately $987 billion in revenue in 2023. In 2023. Think about that. You guys remember the trucking industry was a $700 billion industry. Now it's in 2023, it's a $987 billion industry, which means it went up. The crazy thing is do we see that? Right? When there's a $700 billion industry, people running like crazy and everything else, right? I mean, we can feel the 700 billion. So that was, and let me tell you this, freight tonnage, right? That's what they go by, was 11.18 billion tons. Now, some of you guys need to think about these numbers I'm about to tell you, because it's going to show you something about 2024. So let me run this back. 2023, $987 billion gross revenue. And then we hauled 11.18 billion tons. Now, I'm not really going to calculate on that on a calculator, find out how many loads that is, but what do I want to pay attention to, man, in this trucking shit? The load board, what people say, people's opinions. I'm a numbers person. I like numbers, right? Every year I want to know, what did the trucking industry gross and how much did we haul? Right? Because that really determines, are we losing a shitload of loads that we think we are or no? What do you think 2024 sits at? Let me do this for you. I'm gonna ask you 2 questions, right? If you feel that the trucking industry made more in 2024, put a 1 in the chat. If you don't think so, put a 2. Let's do the first question. So in 23 was 987 billion, right? Which we used to be a $700 billion industry. Now we're at 987 billion. So we're at $287 billion industry from last time that I checked. Where do you think we are in 2024? Marty puts a question mark. It's supposed to be a 1 or 2, Marty. You got to follow instructions, my friend. So, but what's weird is drivers are making and keeping less. Well, that's not what's weird, bro. See, here's like I keep trying to tell you guys, right? The only reason why people feel what they feel, is because of what?
The only reason
Inflation,
why people
right?
feel what they feel.
Oh, you gotta turn the YouTube off, Green. So I can hear myself. That's right, 412 inflation. So, hey, driver, did you hear about what trucking industry did in 2023?
Yes, I did. This caught my attention. I said, "Ooh,
Well,
this is
when I'm done doing this,
yeah,
we're gonna talk about this damn deletion, the D.E.F shit, and all what's going on with the after treatment shit, with the bills and
mm-hmm.
stuff. But so in 2024, so write this down, guys. If you guys can pay attention. Oh shit, we lost them. Let me put this in here in case maybe that might make it easier. I don't know. So if somebody can just pay attention to the numbers, 987, 987 billion 2023. Here is the
Okay,
key. How much did we haul? We hauled 11.18 billion tons.
mm-hmm.
2024 people. We dropped in gross to $906 billion. We lost $80 billion gross. Are you guys ready for the kicker? If you guys think we hauled less tonnage, put a 1 in the chat. If you guys think we hauled more tonnage, put a 2 in the chat. Remember, in 2023, we hauled 11.18 billion tons. Let's move forward, not backwards. What are you talking about, bro? Some of you guys put a 2. Some of you guys put a 1. A whole lot more 2s. So let me help out. In 23, we did 987 billion gross. 24, we did 906. How much did we haul? In 24, Green must have you must have a connection problem. So in 23, we hauled 11.18 billion. And in 24, we hauled more, 11.27 billion tons. We hauled more freight in 24 than 23 at 11.27 billion tons. But we only did 906 billion in gross. The crazy thing is, you know, when we're on the ground and we're doing loads and doing things, right? Did you hear those numbers, Green?
Yeah, yeah. So it was more. Yeah, I don't know why I had a bad connection. So,
Yeah. So we hauled more. We hauled 11.27 billion tons in 24, but in
mm-hmm,
23 we only did 11.18. But we made more money in 23 than we did in 24.
mm-hmm.
Nick said I should have kept my answer. You know, the crazy thing about these figures, guys, and I'm going to put this on my community page so you guys can see it, right? But the crazy thing is this: we can be in a truck and we can sit back and assume and give opinions and all that kind of stuff. But what I like about the end of the year is what did we do this year as a whole of the trucking industry, right? And back when things were $700 billion, everybody was running and those are going crazy, and you know everybody's out there, you know, living it big. And now some people are struggling. Not everybody, but some people are struggling. But the industry is doing $200 billion more than we did when we all thought things was great. And this is why I tell you guys, man, that the reason why people feel the way they feel is because of the inflation. The
Yeah,
inflation is the biggest threat that we face. And this ain't the first time this happened. It's a series of how it goes. right? But think about that though. 987 billion. We dropped down to 80 billion on revenue, but we did 1127 in tons instead of 1118. So we did 10 billion tons more than we did in 23. Crazy,
You
right?
you know, I remember just because I still talk to a lot of guys that are in the harbors, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I mean the harbors, I'm talking West Coast, not East. I don't know nobody out there, only in the West. And the numbers are similar, where the harbors, which are the ports, are reporting record numbers. And but a lot of the guys that that we know, some of them too, they're not they're not working though. And the rates are still the same, but the harbors, the ports are putting out that they got record, they got a lot of tonnage flowing through the ports. One thing that I've seen since I've been out here, OTR, I've been noticing the trains. They're putting a lot of these loads on these trains.
Well, here's the thing though.
Uh-huh.
Um, when I Google it, I'm Googling it as the trucking industry. I put it on the screen right now. I Google it as the trucking industry, not
Bro.
as far as just everything being hauled, trains, planes, and all that other stuff. Um, if you see up top, I highlighted exactly what I was telling everybody: 906 billion in gross,
Hmm.
um, and then 11.27 billion tons. But that's just trucking. So as far as trains, you know, what I see a lot in trains, man, it doesn't matter what day it is or what time it is, bro. Um, let me see something. Yeah. One thing I noticed though is where a lot of people saw a lot of empty trailers, picking up empties and bringing them back and doing a lot of things. They're using the trains for a lot of that stuff.
Yes.
And you're right, for containers, like they're using a lot of trains for containers. But um, but when we look back at our industry, when it was a $700 billion industry, they're still using that stuff. Now, I don't know as far as trains if it's greater or less than or whatever.
Hmm.
But I know on the trucking side, man, like shit, trucking's grown and grows. But a
Hmm.
lot of people don't feel it. You figure $200 billion or $280 billion difference. You'd
Hmm.
think you'd feel that, but that just shows you how bad the inflation is.
Right.
When the trucking industry
Oh,
is up $200 billion and people don't feel it, that inflation, man, is crazy.
not inflation. Also, not only just inflation, but the cost of repairs has gone up, and the frequency of repairs when it comes to these emissions. When you're talking about these EPA diesel changes, because I was talking to a guy yesterday, and he's got to change his turbo because the actuator's going out, you know, and that opened up a whole can of worms, man. The actuator,
Yeah.
our trucks, our pre-emission trucks, we never dealt with actuators. You know what I mean? So now you're changing a turbo. You got a cost that you didn't have to, you never had it before. So there's a lot of different things, but yeah, the inflation, man, it's causing a big thing too.
Yeah. Texting for it right now.
All right. I mean, look at the fees that we got now too. I don't know if that's just a California thing or what. All these fees that they want now.
Yeah.
Clean
So,
truck fees and all kinds of fees, man.
oh yeah, no, I mean it is a California thing, and we got a smog and everything's just a money grab. So I'm gonna talk to you
Right,
guys
right.
about a lot of different things today, man. We're gonna cover this. We're gonna cover what I looked into about the IRS and taxes. What's on the table.
Hmm.
Then we're gonna talk about these brand new 2027 trucks. Um, what's on the table with the emissions and all that kind of stuff. Because a lot of us, including me, I'm sitting back like, I heard they're gonna roll this thing way back, man. I can't wait to get me an old ass truck with a caterpillar cat in it. But I did a whole lot of research, and
Hmm.
found a lot of crazy stuff out, which I'm gonna talk about at the end. But
All right.
so right here we have 3.58 million professional truck drivers in 2024, and that's crazy. And guess what? It says right here, the industry remains largely composed of small businesses, with 91.5% of carriers operating 10 or fewer trucks. You guys remember I tell you guys that these mega carriers don't control shit? That it's the small fleets and everything else? Well, the small fleets of 10 trucks or less is 90.5% in 2024. The remainder is your mega carriers or people above 10 trucks. The thing is, man, when you guys are listening to anybody, me or anybody else, or trying to figure out if you guys are trying to get into the trucking industry, or is the trucking industry collapsing, or any of this crazy stuff that gets thrown on the wall, see what sticks for views.
Hmm.
All you guys have to do is do what I've just done. I'm a
Yeah.
numbers person. I want to see what am I looking like for 26? What am I looking like for 25? What I look like for 24? Like I need to know where trucking is going. And we hauled more freight in 24 than 23. But did a lot of you guys notice it? So a lot of
Well,
times you guys see,
that's why I mentioned the train thing. I'm wondering if this stuff is going on the train, if nobody's seeing, if an increase didn't go on these loads, these load boards and all that stuff. That's what I'm wondering is if they're starting to put freight on these trains. But
so
let's
here's
keep
where I don't want to get here's where I don't want to get a confusion, right? So what I'm looking at is the US trucking industry. So it's only trucking based, not trains, not anything else, not what do you call it? Hot shots. This is the trucking industry. And the trucking industry only what I'm talking about today. You know what I mean? So these numbers are based off trucking. It's not air freight, none of that stuff. That makes
right,
sense?
right, right. Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. No, I wasn't saying that. What I was saying was that increase, that percentage where some maybe sometimes somebody is not seeing them that freight. I'm wondering if that increase from 23 to 24, where is that freight is what I'm saying. But let's
So
keep on.
we didn't lose any freight. We just lost money. We had more freight. But
Right.
I don't want this confusing you, right? All
Hmm.
these numbers are just trucking. It's not train numbers. These are
Right,
I don't know
right.
what the trains do. This the money here. Did you see from 23 24? It's all trucking. The tons we hauled. It's all trucking based, nothing to do with trains. So the numbers we show here that we're missing or we gained or whatever has nothing to do with trains, planes, or none of that stuff. This is all just trucking stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But in 23 to 24, we didn't lose loads, we gained loads. We gained 10 billion tons from 23 to 24. So here again, we did 11.27 billion tons. And in 23, we did 11.18 billion tons. So in 24, we did more tons, but we did it with less money. So the 10 billion tons, we hauled it for $80 billion less than we did in 2023.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
I don't think. Yeah, I don't agree with that, man. I don't think that's factual. That's why I was saying. I think that I think something different. But let's keep rolling.
Yeah. Well, this ain't my opinion.
I
This
didn't say it
is
was.
yeah. No, I know. I'm saying this to the people. This ain't a me and you conversation. You know,
Yeah,
this is people that are watching us.
right, right.
So this right here that I'm telling you guys and showing you guys, um, this is like every time people haul loads, right? Everything gets entered and stuff, right? Gets
Mm-hmm.
recorded. And every time it gets
Right.
recorded, when you Google stuff on here, it gets generated. And so when it gets generated, you can go on Google and it'll tell you everything, everything you need to know in numbers. You know, you guys can make sure that the president ain't lying or, you know, whoever speaks on that shit in the government, you got to make sure they're not lying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, when everything's entered in the computer, it's all recorded. So just like with employment, right? So it says the sector employed 8.4 million people in the industry related jobs. So 8 million people are in the trucking industry related to those jobs. They're not truck drivers. But 3.58 million are truck drivers. See how they break that down? So 5 million could be like dispatchers or office personnel, just something to dealing with trucking, but they're not truck drivers.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the craziest thing is when I was looking at 2025 is not over yet. But from what I've seen so far, so 23 we're at 980 billion, 24 we're at 906 billion, and so far what I've seen in 2025 is 905 billion. So we've lost $1 billion from 25 to 24. So, but I haven't seen the tonnage yet. But that's crazy though, man. Like, let me see something. Let me see if I can bring this up. So if you look at 2025, right, which we talked about 23 and 24, now it's saying 532.7 billion growth in tonnage or revenue. Let's see. Yeah, these numbers are going to just be guesstimated until 2025 is over. Um, 'Cause these numbers are we just gotta wait. But let me see here. What's 2020 look like?
They're gonna be close though, because we're already at the end.
So see here in 2020, remember I told you guys $732 billion industry. You moved 10 billion tons, 10 billion right here. Oops, right here. So in 2020, and this is just something for people to think on, right? Do your own research and all that. I'm just showing you guys what I do. So in 2020, wasn't that when everything was booming and people were getting $5 freight and all that kind of stuff? 2020, somewhere
Yeah.
around there. in the CV19? $732 billion approximately, and we hauled 10.23 billion tons. And what do we haul in 2024? We did 1.41 billion tons more than we did in 2020. And we made almost $200 billion more in 2024 than we did in 2020. So the numbers are greater from 2023 and 24 from 2020 when everybody was so excited and so happy. And let me see here. So it says there's a 1.7 decrease in tonnage from 2022. Now I never looked at 2022. Marking at the worst year since 2020 due to soft freight market. Yeah. Operating cost hits a record at 2.2 per mile. That's including insurance and all that stuff. But the craziest thing, guys, is we should be seeing some craziness, right? As far as from CV19 when everybody was busy buying a lot of shit and everything else to 2023 and 2024. Now in January, February, I'll probably do one on 25, but so 2022 we did $940 billion in gross. 11.4 billion tons. So in 2022 we did 11.4, and you guys see as far as the tons, we did drop from 22. We did 11.4, and then 23 we did 11.18, and then 23 we picked up a little bit. You see that, Green?
Oh yeah.
So, and right here, the American Trucker Association, they're giving out the numbers too, right here. So, right here. So, that's 2022. Yeah.
So I get the numbers. The numbers paint a picture.
Right.
And it's like a mountain. You got a mountain in front of you, and then one year the mountain is a certain size, and then the next year the mountain got bigger. And what I was saying was that I think that those loads, that tonnage, I think that it went on the train, is what I'm thinking. And I'm going to tell you why I think that. It used to be 70% of all goods came through the West Coast ports. And I think it was even higher before. I think it was like 80 or somewhere like that. Now, I think it's at 60% of all goods come through the West Coast ports. Those numbers have dropped. A very high percentage of those specific loads, that freight gets put on a train. It no longer gets put on a truck. The trend that I'm witnessing, I mean, because we look throughout the United States and you see trucking companies closing. Trucking companies that have been in business for, some of them were in business for 100 years. How come all of a sudden now they can't, they can't thrive in this market when all the numbers that you just read to us off of that report states that the freight is there.
Well, I looked
The
all
f-
that up, and the reason being is because of debt, right? Like
mhm,
Yellow, they bought out earlier on. They bought a company out and stuff like that that had a lot of debt, and that was a bad choice and bad decision that they made. And it said that that was the cause of them going under. But keep in mind this on the numbers, right?
mhm,
10 trucks or less are over 90% of the trucking industry.
right.
So when you see
Small companies.
big companies, when you see big companies going under, it doesn't affect it that much because they're a small percentage, believe it or not. If
No,
Prime
no.
went out of business, it's not going to really affect us that much.
Right,
Now I
right.
brought up the rail; it's right here on the screen.
Okay,
Like
cool.
I don't really teach rail and all that kind of stuff.
I'm not
I
trying to
always
teach
want to
rail.
stay, yeah,
I'm not trying to
because I
teach that. I'm not trying to do nothing like that, man. What I'm
yeah,
saying is where did that freight go? That's all I'm saying. Where
right.
did that increase in that freight? Okay, and getting back to these companies, yeah, if the debt is a killer. Okay, and there's more factors than just debt because there's debt in the trucks, there's debt in expenses that they never had before that they've incurred. We also got a lot of these companies were union, so they got union. We got 10 roads that just closed, which was another union company. You got Yellow that was a union company. So I mean, there's all kinds of different factors that play into this. I understand all that, but what I'm trying to get at here, man, is that increase that you just read. Where is it at?
So looking at 2023 and 2024, right, on
Hmm.
rail, there's not that much of a difference. So
What
rail
it?
in 2023,
Hmm.
they did 77 billion, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And in 2024, is at 98.
That's 20%
So
increase, ain't it? Or is that 10? No, that's about 20%.
it's right here.
I mean, because what I see, bro, is I see trucking companies closing.
It's a 3.7 annual increase from previous year.
Right. That's the annual. That's like an APR though, and all that. Those numbers, those solid numbers that you just that we just read right now. Whatever that percentage number is, okay, because what I see is I see rail expanding and I see trucking companies closing.
We can agree and disagree on that. It's all good. What I see is the reason why is because we have a whole lot more trucks on the road than we ever did before. That
Well, yeah,
CV19, that's like a lotto ticket for a lot of people, and a lot of
yeah.
people still need to go underneath. But
Yeah, they do.
but as far as like trucking goes, we're not losing. And again, this is just trucking. This ain't air. This ain't. I mean, this ain't nothing but just trucking in general. In other words, if they did a bill rating on it to go on a truck, semi truck, then it's recorded on this right here on this Google. Just like with the train stuff, the train went up a little bit, right? So when it's recorded
Hmm.
on those cars, it goes on there too. Now, from some what you said, some stuff goes on train, then goes on truck. They both get
Right.
paid.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, we know that. That's I'm talking the total number though, man. The total
But the
number is what
trains,
I'm talking about.
from what I've seen, the trains, and again,
Hmm.
I haven't seen anything factual, so I can give my opinion. People watching give their opinion. You can give your opinion. It's all opinion fact, right? Based.
Right.
But and I know what you're saying with the ports. Um, but like even like stuff comes from the ports and it don't go on the train. We go grab it with the trucks, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But what you said could be right. What I said could be wrong, or vice versa. But when it comes to these numbers and stuff, all we can do is just read what's going on in the freight as far as the rail and trucking.
Hmm.
Rails went up a little bit. trucking as far as tons went up a little bit. But the part that really want to show everybody is we're hauling more freight for less money. And that's the part that people are feeling. So in 2024, we hauled more freight than we did in 2023, but we did it with $80 billion less money. Plus inflation from 23 to 24 went up crazy, way more, right? And so to me, my opinion, I think that's what they're feeling. So, but yeah, a lot of this stuff goes on train first. It goes on boats, goes on planes, and all that. But once it hits a truck, then it's recorded here.
Right.
So there is times when planes and trains share and trucks share the same cargo.
But I'm not. I don't know, man. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that a lot of the numbers that they're reporting as far as the
You're
tonnage.
saying they canceled the trucks and just put on a train and that's it.
Yes, yes, that's what I'm saying. So that these numbers, when they're showing the increase in the volume of freight, okay, but the truck drivers are not getting that freight. That's what I'm saying. How can there be an increase year after year and yet trucking is getting smaller versus the trains?
So let's look it up. I put is the rail stealing freight from the trucking companies.
That's a good one, huh? Straightforward.
I don't think they have enough trains to really steal freight too much with trucking, man. But
I don't know,
says the
man. I
question
see
of
those.
whether it says the
I
question
see
of
the.
whether the go ahead, bro.
I see those trains, man, running through New Mexico, man, and they're double stacked. Nothing but, one line, Yang Ming, you know, just all over. I mean, just train after train after train. And I remember personally, loads going to Texas and loads going to Midwest and all this stuff. And those loads are no more. I mean, there is some, but it ain't what it used to be.
And that says by who?
That I see the trains. I see
No,
the
you're saying
trains.
that's you're saying that Texas freight ain't what it used to be. Says by who? Who says that?
I'm saying loads from the harbor going
Right,
to Texas. Yeah.
right.
Okay. The ones that say that are the companies that I used to deal with direct. Some of them ain't even in business no more. There's we get a
But
load board.
here's the craziest thing though. The companies that
Uh,
told you that, that's their opinion, right?
no, that's not an opinion, bro. That's they're telling you the facts. I mean, they're dealing with the freight. They are the broker. I mean, the companies that we used to haul from Long Beach to Salt Lake City, there ain't no more loads going to Salt Lake City. We used to have loads going into Idaho. We don't got those loads no more. They're not hitting me up saying, "Hey man, can you go to Idaho? Can you go to Salt Lake City?" Remember that one company, what was it, Next? Remember
Right.
that? And how they had their load board? Okay, well, Dre, I don't know if it's Dre Alliance, Dre Now, Dre, something Dre. Okay, constantly emails. There is no long haul, none. It's all short haul. It's what everybody talks about. Going from the train yard to the customer. That little short move, that little short hop. I'm talking that long haul. Going from one side to the other side. I'm not talking about the little 25 mile, 50 mile. Oh, you pick it up at the depot and you take it to the customer. We all know that, man. That ain't nothing. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is going from Long Beach to New Mexico, Long Beach to Salt Lake City. Long, and all I'm saying is I don't see those loads no more.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
agree with that. I mean,
I
but
mean, I know you get the emails. When are they asking you?
right, but
What are they?
this is why
Mhm.
Google's my friend, right? Because just because we don't see it or they don't see it, don't mean it's really not there, right? And it really so here's the
Okay,
craziest
Rick.
thing, right?
Okay, Soka.
Yeah.
I hear you loud and clear. Okay, but I know guys that are hauling right now out of the harbor. Nobody, nobody, and you know some of them too. None of them are doing long haul. Every single one of them is doing exactly what that little. Oh, you go to
I
the
can
terminal and you pick
I can
one
tell
up
you a
and you
lot of
take it
I can tell you
to
if we're gonna talk
commerce.
about ports if I can tell you about port stuff, I can tell you a lot factual information that's going on with the freight, why they don't see
Okay,
it.
okay.
And that's
So that
because
increase, that
so what they
increase.
did, I'm gonna answer some of your questions of stuff that I know, right? So
Okay,
the reason why Next and Drage and all those don't see it, and the people that we know, whatever, don't see it and stuff like that, because I don't know if you remember at one time, um, the ports they went on strike. They left the ships out in the sea for like 3 or 4 months waiting to get unloaded. They were screwing shit up. They lost a lot of customers when they did that. We have customers that did electric buses and trucks and stuff like that were coming in, and they all took that shit to the Georgia ports.
right.
You know, so a lot of that stuff now coming into California, you don't see it no more because they're going to other ports. The problem that these union people don't realize, man, is when you show somebody a whole different set of playing cards, and they like how the hand lays, they don't come back to you.
Oh yeah,
And
I
when we had
agree.
all these ships out in the ocean and waiting 3 or 4 months to get unloaded because they want to be on strike and do all that, and then they started detouring those ships, and some of those ships are sitting right there at the LA Long Beach port. They even told those ships, "Hey, go ahead and sell it on over to Georgia," and they were leaving there going to the Georgia port. How do I know
Okay,
that? Because our customer with electric shit told us about all that. That's how I know about all that. I didn't see that
okay,
from Google or nothing.
okay.
And a lot of
Exactly,
these companies are still using the Georgia ports. They never came back to the California ports.
exactly, exactly,
And that is
exactly.
why most likely Next and Dryage and all of them, they went out of business and they don't see the freight. Yeah.
Right.
It just is it's still going on a truck, but it's just not going through LA like it used to. They're using Georgia and everybody else because when they go there, they get offloaded really, really quick. And when they look at all the money, even if it took longer to go to Georgia, how fast can it get off the ship? And so these companies are looking at all that as far as how money goes.
So the freight never left though. It's just going to a different location.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. When LA Long Beach Port did that shit, I said, "Oh, they done fucked up now. They done messed up, bro." You know how that shit is, man. When you see it's great on the other side, why would you go back?
No, I do know. I know what happened up in
Yeah.
Seattle and all that stuff too. I know.
Yeah.
What I'm saying though is that in the increase from 23 to 24, okay, a lot of these loads, we don't. I don't see them no more. A lot of the guys that I know, they're not seeing
Yeah.
these loads no more. These companies ain't reaching out. Hey, can you go here? All I see is what you're describing right now. Is can you go from this terminal, 25 miles down the road?
Yeah. So, and again, that's back when, I don't know what's going on today in 2025, right? But I know what they did back then. And why would they come back? I mean, we have one of the biggest ports, but why would they come back to us if it's greater somewhere else? And since then they might have not used the Georgia port. Now they might use a different port. But one thing they learned is, hey man, we can get caught up in the LA Long Beach port. You know,
Wow. All I
crazy
see
game,
is
but
I see rail companies expanding, taking over rail lines, rail companies merging, and I see trucking companies going under. That's what
so this person, which I don't even recognize the name, Cap GGGGGGGGG 1700, right? I bet you broke that G button. You can claim bullshit all you want. And I appreciate your opinion, but it's factual information. So, matter of fact, I told Mob when I heard about all that happening, I told Mob and Willis and all them, I said, get ready about that Georgia port, man. It's gonna be on fire for a while. And yeah, shit, they ate good. They ate good at that time. PGB says, yeah, that's true. They started coming into the East Coast, Jacksonville, Georgia, and even Florida ports. So, yeah, it's crazy. But I had dinner with an engineer back in 2021. He was telling me all about it. And let's just say the people at the table started to get so uncomfortable that people at the table started leaving. Yeah. He's right about the rail is coming out of Canada and Mexico ports to rail. That's because them damn railroad got a shitload of bin during the Biden bailout. You think back to it, I think the effects are really starting to show now. JB Hunt Intermodal puts their loads on trains going long haul. But here's the thing though, quick. JB Hunt, I think, has always really did that. Like they have their own division, and so does Knight. I think Knight's got a little division. Like some of these guys, they got their own containers. True, it's said that Warren Buffett put a lot of money behind the trains to take freight from truckers, but it'll affect big companies more. Oh, this shit's lagging. Here we go. Yeah, I mean, what I'm trying to show you guys, and I don't want to get off track with this shit, is right here it says rail can't replace trucks. But what I'm trying to have you guys see is before we get off topic and all this other shit is this, right? Is I still see freight, according to what they say, we holler for less, but I don't really see like freight declining since CV-19, right? We're hauling more freight today than we did during 2020. Now, that ain't my opinion, right? But again, 2024 to 2023, we hauled for $80 billion less. Why would we holler for $80 billion less? JB Hunt saw a 6% decline in intermodal. And here's another thing, right? These are just numbers for you guys. Look, these are just numbers for you guys to do your own research. I'm showing you guys live how I do my certain research, right, about things, right? See, one thing about AI and Google and all that, it's a powerful tool that a lot of people don't like to use. But I assure you, a lot of business folks, when they want to start businesses, do a lot of things, they look at that, right? Let me see something real quick. Here's one thing I want to show you real quick. Now it says we did what 11.18 billion tons, right? On this one it says in the year ending Thursday 31st. There you go, Green. So in the year ending Thursday 31st, March 22, 78 million tonnage of freight was carried on Britain's railway. So even all these other countries, man, they put stuff on rail, but it just makes a lot of sense sometimes, right? And here's the thing, right? They have to keep these businesses. They have to keep planes going in the sky, trains going, and all that stuff. And they try different things, But the point I would really want to make with this is, regardless as far as the detail of the freight, what I want to show you guys is from 2020 when things were great to 2023 and 2024, we hauled more freight than we did in 2020. And it went from a $700 billion industry to a $900 billion industry. There's $200 billion there. And the point that I want to show you that I showed you guys was in 2023, we did it for more money than we did in 2024. We hauled more in 2024 than 2023 with $80 billion less money. And that's the point of all this I'm trying to point out to you guys. You got good connection there, driver?
Yeah, can you hear me though?
Yeah. I can hear you. You're breaking up a little bit, but I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I hear you perfect. Yeah.
All right. Your headset seems like it changes like low now.
Yeah, on my phone overheated, so
Oh, okay.
yeah, I had to, put it in front of there.
Yeah. That's happened to me plenty of times, bro. Fran says that's good. Thank you. You do need to look at everything. It's just called research, not rumors. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the reality is this, right? The facts are we are no longer a $700 billion industry as of 2025 numbers. We're not talking about 2023, 2024. We're a $900 billion industry, $200 billion more than during the 2020. And that's when times were good, right? That's when people were buying trucks, going crazy. Everything was just wild, right? And why is it not wild right now? If we're doing $200 billion more and we're hauling more freight, how come people ain't going batshit crazy, just blowing money and buying trucks and having a good time? It's just crazy how that shit works, right? So let me look at my phone on some other research I did, and then we're gonna. Oh shit! Hang on. Which one? Contracts. Oh man, fucking Freud, he's funny, man. Um. So back to the other topic. So you guys understand that, right? That we made more money. We hauled more freight than previous years. Now, are we ready to get down to what this video's really about on the title about this deletion, D.E.F, emissions, and all this crazy shit? This rollback and all that crap? You ready for that? If you are, put a 1 in the chat. So here's the craziest thing, right? For this deletion, this D.E.F shit, all this stuff. There's a lot of stuff that we didn't know, right? A lot of stuff that the government knew that we didn't know. And as much as you guys say, SoCal, I gotta have a brand new truck. I love these brand new trucks. If you had got a 2027 truck, you'd have been upset because the way they had it was for the 2027 trucks, the emissions were going to be way crazier than what we have to deal with today. Now, the rollback that what I've been hearing, I'm thinking we're getting rid of D.E.F, D.E.F, all that. Well, that's not the case. It's not the case. So the rollback was because the last president had it set up to where it was really, really going to choke out the industry. As far as you guys already know about electric semi trucks and all that bullshit, but not just that, but with the manufacturers, they're going to have to be more stricter on building the emission systems on the trucks. They had rules of this emissions that the trucks, there's no way they can do it. And so the rollback is they threw all that shit out. They threw all that out. What stands today will still stand today. The future shit that they had, that where they're going to choke out the trucks even more and all that kind of shit, that's all rolled back, getting thrown out. So, but one thing that I do like what they're changing in the 27 trucks now, even Cummins, where is it? I'm gonna read it from my phone with what I have, right? It says Cummins X15. They're delaying the next gen X15 diesel due to late 2026 due to unclear EPA policy, but will use a twin module aftertreatment system with a 48 volt electric heater for precise temperature control. Even Cummins was confused, right? Because they had these new laws in place for the Cummins and Detroit and all these people that they're sitting back like, what the hell? But now that's all rolled back. But even Cummins, man, they stopped doing like next gen of X15s, man, because they're like, which way am I going? Left side or right side? What are we doing here? Hey driver, have you ever had a DEF, or if you ran out of DEF or something like that, it deraced your truck?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So the new thing they're doing now is starting in 2027 trucks, or I don't know. I mean, it's crazy. They said for the 2027 trucks. Now, once they do that for the 2027 trucks, that means we should have the software for our stuff. But the 2027 trucks now, this is some new stuff where if you run out of DEF, your truck will still go down the road. It's only going to reduce, I think, like it'll give you, shoot, do I have that on here? Oh man, don't tell me I don't have it on here. So now I'm about to go by memory, and that's gonna suck. Let me see. Damn, I lost him again. Let's see here. Let me see if I can look it up real quick. So the 2027 trucks, if you run out of DEF, you're still gonna be able to drive the truck. It's not gonna derate to 5 miles an hour. You're still gonna be able to drive the truck. Um, I want to say it derates only like 10%, right? And here we go. So it's only gonna derate for 10%. I think that was, oh, man, let me just look it up so I'm not telling you guys something. The hell is this? Hang on a second. Anyway, the long story of this shit is when you run out of depth, the truck's still gonna run down the road. You're not gonna be stuck on the side, derated and screwed up. They're still gonna give you plenty of time, plenty of hours, plenty of miles, plenty of everything to, go get DEF in the truck. That's a new thing they want to do. And it's a software update. And so the crazy thing about that is it's almost like a deletion. Like you run out of DEF. How many people are gonna just run out of DEF? Says, man, I got 1,800 miles I can run without DEF, and then I'll put some in it. Some people are gonna do that to save money. Let me see if I can look it up like I did on my phone. Let's see. Let me show you guys what I just typed in. So they're changing the D.E.F software, but it's all still going to be on the truck. So for 2027 model year semi trucks, new software requirements will prevent the current practice of sudden and severe power loss, often 5 miles an hour, when the diesel exhaust fluid D.E.F tank runs low. So key change for 2027, my software. So they're going to be changing it. Now, I read about the hours and miles and all that. Let me see if I can re-find it. So a lot of reading, huh, guys? Dude, this is what I do, man. I read all this stuff. But anyway, I'm not gonna bore you guys trying to relook it up. I had a lot of it on my phone. But yeah, so this software update is gonna change everything for 2027 trucks. So if you run out of DEF, run low on DEF, you don't have to be scared and be like, oh man, I'm screwed. Because before it'd do 5 miles an hour and your truck had to be towed to the dealership and they had to reset it. And all that's getting thrown out. It's gonna get thrown out. But yeah, that's 2027 year models. What up, Shannon? You think it'll dramatically raise the price at the pump? Well, I can give an opinion, PG Beats, but I mean, it's just an opinion. It don't mean shit, but I don't think it's going to raise anything. That's just my opinion. But what do you think about the only change we're going to get, driver, is the software on the dev systems? I think we lost him again. Okay, elimination of sudden shutdowns. The primary change is the removal of programming to reduce the vehicle speed to as low as 5 miles an hour after a short period of a DEF fault. And that's called limp mode. So there's gonna be three phases, excuse me. But it showed hours and all that stuff. Let me see here. Here it is. So the modest power reductions, 15%, occurs only after many hours of thousands of miles of operation. So you'll be able to drive thousands of miles at the 15%, right? The final top speed will be 25 miles an hour and kicks after 8,400 miles, 160 hours. So, but here's the thing, right? Reality is this: slowly, they're trying to get rid of DEF. Now they're going to get it where these trucks can run without it. You're not going to have the limp mode, all that kind of stuff. So that's the only thing that I see in the future that's happening with this after treatment shit. Everything else is staying the same. You're not going to legalize deleting trucks. Of course, I did read one part where it said, unless the manufacturer does it. So, let's see. I do all the research on my phone, then I have to find it on the computer at times. Okay, so the purpose of the change is this. The updated guidance aims to reduce disruption caused by sudden shutdowns and gives owners more time to refill the DEF tank before the engine is severely impacted. So, and that's what the EPA is doing. And that's the only thing we have to look forward to with the after treatment system. 2026, diesel trucks will still have DEF systems and be required to meet current emissions. 27 and beyond, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, requires new diesel trucks to be engineered to avoid sudden and severe power loss when DEF is depleted. So the reality is, That's the only thing they're geared to do right now. So, and get rid of the stuff that we didn't even know about that was going to happen in 2027. So, yeah, it's a lot, huh, driver?
What's that?
So that's a lot to cover, huh?
Nah, man, that ain't.
Well, I read a
All it
lot,
is
man, but
children. Yeah.
yeah, I read a lot, but to go through all that shit of the new shit that they threw out like that put people to sleep, man.
Oh
But
yeah,
what
yeah.
what do I get out of this, bro? Is
Hmm.
key thing is they're changing the software,
Right, right. That's what I said. It's just a software thing.
but they're
So
allowing people to change the software.
yeah, that's a good thing.
So if you go for an inspection and they look at your DEF and you're on zero, they can't say, "Hey, man, are you deleted?"
Hmm.
Even though we're smart enough to fill it up or not fill it all the way up, but
Yeah.
But it sucks, man, because I thought they're gonna get it to where we can delete trucks and we're going back to the old EPA rules, and I couldn't find that nowhere, bro. Nowhere
That's
on the
what I
new
thought too.
bills.
That's
Yeah,
what I thought too. I thought, man, that's what I was waiting for. I was waiting to hear
yeah,
these standards put out so that, you knew what you could and what you could not do.
yeah. I mean the good thing about it is, you know, to be legal, you can low key like do a deletion on the deaf part of it. Keep the DPF if you want to stay legal. Because really, that's what they're trying to. If you hear what I read and you look it up for yourself, the deaf is what they don't like. They like the trucks and they have the DPF filters and all that kind of stuff for whatever reason.
Hmm.
I guess they don't think that the deaf thing was a good idea. And why they're changing all this, it's not because they give a fuck about us. It's because we're a hazard on the road when that shit happens. You know, like
Yeah.
the harness goes fucked up on the DEF, the DEF pump goes out. Like I'm putting new lines on that truck that I'm doing the engine rebuild, right? 2 lines because you have 2 lines that go for DEF for the heater, right?
Yeah.
Those lines are $400,
Yeah. They're expensive.
you know? So, yeah. So that's where we're at with that, man. So as far as sit back waiting for we can delete our trucks and they're throwing out the after treatment, no, couldn't find it.
Yeah, a lot of people that I know were all waiting for that to see what the next rules were.
See, what we didn't realize when Trump and all them were saying that, they're going to roll back the EPA standards and stuff.
Hmm.
We were thinking about today's standards and then starting from here, rolling it back. But that's not what he
Yeah.
was talking about.
Okay.
Is that future stupid shit that we're going to have to deal with that he
Okay.
got rid of before it came in effect. And he rolled it back to
Okay.
today's standards.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And that's why the electric vehicles are sitting on the lots now, not being sold. And I read too that he took out all the government assistance and all that for electric semi trucks.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The guy at Tech, that's what he told me. He said he can't sell them. They're too expensive.
Yeah, yeah. Price tags are
Plus the
too
charging
expensive, but
station. Yeah.
yeah. And that's another thing too. What I was looking at was the charging stations, right?
Yeah.
So for 8 charging stations, it was going to be like so many billions and billions of dollars, like a lot of billions of dollars, and it just wasn't feasible. It's just not. It's a good idea, but the wrong time to do it. We just couldn't. And we all knew that, right? There's no way in hell we can flip a switch and I'll go electric and shit. We all know that, the electric companies and all that can't produce that shit. I mean, you see how many truck drivers we have on the road. Can you imagine if they're on they were all in electric vehicles. Man, that's so much fucking electricity. Let's see what these guys are talking about. And D.E.F already nuts more than diesel. Yeah, hey, Green, you remember when D.E.F first came out, how cheap that shit was?
Yeah, I do.
And now look at it. See,
I
that's how
know.
they get people. That's how they get people to accept the shit. Because we sit back and say, oh, ain't that much more. It doesn't matter. I mean, per truck, I think I spend like $200 a month in DEF.
That's another added expense that guys don't take into consideration. When did DEF get put into, on the trucks? 2014?
I think
Is that
12,
when they
13.
started? Is it 12 or 14?
Yeah, 12.
Whatever, yeah, that's another added expense that people
Yeah.
don't consider. There's a lot of different reasons why, I mean, I've said it before, man. The rates have always been what they are right now. And I mean, I even see some that are even higher than what they used to be. It's just the expenses of everything has gone up all the way around. And I think the rates do need to go up a little bit more to compensate, but
Let me look up something that I think I already know.
it's all these systems that are in place that are slow killers, like that D.E.F system, that D.P.F, all that stuff, man. I mean, when you see a truck on the side of the road, 9 times out of 10, it's not mechanical. It's not mechanical failure. It's emissions failure.
Yeah. I'm looking for something, but it's putting me with some bullshit about the $2,000 check. It's not what I'm looking for. So, damn, I can't find it nowhere. Okay, so let me tell you guys about this then. I can't Google it and find it, but the tariff money. So think about this, right? You have a bank account, right? You have a savings account, right? So your extra money goes in the savings account, right? All this tariff that they're getting, all this tariff money is going in a big ass savings account. So it hasn't hit the United States yet as far as in circulation yet. When that happens, we're gonna see the inflation go down. We're gonna see stocks go crazy. Maybe see some crypto shit go crazy. But when that shit hits, that's a lot of money. From what I was hearing, it's trillions of dollars. And what I'm hearing talks of is the tariffs will replace our income tax. So will this happen? Who knows, right? But the talk is he's trying to abolish the IRS
Hell
altogether.
yeah.
And he's trying to get it to where the tariff, we don't have to do taxes no more. That the tariffs will replace that. That's what he's trying to do. And when the tariffs, when that money finally circulates, dude, that's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. So, but I couldn't find out when they were gonna release it. That's what I was looking for. Um, let me see. Let me show you guys what I'm looking at real quick. So, I mean, there's a lot of, but again, once you guys understand something, man, it's all talk, right? Just like they're gonna roll back the missions, and we thought that we were not gonna deal with all that after treatment shit. And the only thing we have to look up forward to is they're gonna be changing the software, so don't have to be scared of the E need on the DEF no more. Let's see. We modeled 3 different 2000 tariff dividends. So from when he started, see, I can't even find that shit. They're talking about paying people out their $2,000 bullshit. See, I really think, man, they keep shit fucked up. And even Cummins, like I said, even Cummins is confused, bro. When you confuse a manufacturer, you're really confusing people about some shit. So right here it says, so it's not trillions, it's billions. We estimate new tariffs will generate 158.4 billion in total revenue during 2025, and another 207 billion in 2026. 279 billion to 600 billion. So I mean, it's bouncing all around because it just gets estimations. Let's see, and they're changing tariffs all around too. So we don't know. From January through September 2025, total collection reached 174 billion before accounting with income and payroll tax offset. But again, they're talking about that. They're talking about that. I don't have the audio on, so it ain't gonna matter. But the talk is, man, they want to get rid of income taxes, the IRS. Here it is, right here. Expected 10-year revenue for the president's new tariffs is 2.3 trillion. So that's probably what I heard when I heard trillion. Before accounting for how what would reduce tax revenue. Yeah. So just research for you guys to check out. So is the after treatment shit gonna get thrown out the trucks? No. The tariffs, as much as everybody's saying, God damn, man, the tariffs is hurting the trucking industry. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Is it? Trevor, when did he put that tariff shit in place? Do you remember? Was it 2024?
Yeah, nah, tariffs ain't affecting. I mean, you just read those numbers earlier. The freight has increased year by year, the tonnage.
And the trains increased too.
That's what I was saying earlier, man.
Yeah. Here's my question though, right? Same as your question. Where's the freight?
No, I know where it's at. It's on that damn train.
No, but
I
what I'm
just
saying is,
passed one
so
right now.
yeah, the train went up, and the train went up a little bit, but the trucking freight went up a lot from 20. I'm talking about from 2020, but
Yeah,
we don't see it.
no.
I mean, the load boards in 2020 was crazy, right? She was jumping off and popping, and people don't see that on load boards. So where's the freight at?
Yeah, but we know that was that was that wasn't those weren't real rates. Those were
Oh yeah,
inflated
no,
rates.
no, I'm
So,
not even talking about the rates. I'm just talking about how many
uh-huh.
loads are on the board compared to what I'm
Yeah.
hearing people. I'm not on the board, so
Yeah, no, I agree with you because that's what I kept. That's the same thing that I kept was being told was you got to get on this board. You got to get on this board. And I think what happened was they just couldn't cover them, and then so they just they were forced to throw them out there.
yeah, yeah, it's pretty crazy. If
Yeah,
anybody wants to hit the link, I'm gonna put the link out here for anybody. Um, but I'm kind of let me see what they're projected for 2026. I'm gonna do trucking and rail. Let me share it real quick. If everything they say, you know, I don't know when we'll feel it, 2026 or 2027, I don't know, but if everything what they say comes into play, it's gonna make a big difference. So it says the 2026 outlook for U.S. trucking and rail points towards a period of modern growth following several years of let's see, rebalancing. Yeah, they're just talking about rebalancing pretty much. Let me see what this ad says. So they're saying in 2026 the market returns to a balance,
Nah, I
and
agree.
that's what we all talked about from the CV19 thing, that it's got to balance
Yeah.
itself out.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What up, Pop Tart? Now these are experts, analysts say for 2026. Let's see. Here's DAF rate analyst. Then they're talking about 2024, which I don't care about. 2025, I don't care about. That expects truckloads rates to gradually rise in 2025 at a normal pre-2020 pace, likely beginning by second quarter of 2025. Now, have we seen that? I'm not on the board, so have you seen from second quarter this year that prices went up a little bit as far as rates?
I've seen a little bit, a small percentage of loads
Yeah.
have come back up to a decent rate right now, but only because we're in the holidays. That
They're
it
saying
popped
second.
up a
So
little bit, but
yeah, DAF rate and analysts say the second quarter of 2025.
hmm
So that'd have been, see, January, February, March. So April, May, and June.
hmm
Like I said, I can't speak on that because I'm not on the board. I have no clue. They implied the uptrend would carry into 2026 as the cycle gains steam. However, that did caution the uncertainties. I don't know. I don't think they really know, man. C.H. Robinson's on here. They're forecasting some stuff.
hmm
They're saying U.S. truckloads spot rates will rise modestly in 2026, with their models calling about a 2% year over year increase, both dry van and refrigerator rates.
the other thing that comes into play is that what we were talking about earlier about how when the ports went on strike and then the customer
Yeah,
was forced to find an alternative, right? The same
right.
thing happened with these warehouses. Is they built a lot more warehouses than was around in 2020, and
Absolutely.
a lot of that freight has been stored in warehouses because they don't want, I'm talking the customers, the businesses, they don't want to get stuck, with empty pockets when there's a demand for a product. So a lot of the a lot of the freight that should have came out has already, that they're waiting for in the second half of the third quarter, whatever, that freight has already been dispersed. It's already been, sent out.
So here's the graph from 2024. From 2020 to July 24. So here's the graph. But the main thing I see is cargo theft is a big deal right now. But yeah, you're right, bro. Like what happened, man? A lot of people got scared to run out of shit and they over ordered a lot of everything. And you're right, bro. There's warehouses getting put up everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if people are saying, well, yeah, but so okay, but we don't haul there, whatever. Look, these people know something that people ain't telling us.
That's right.
Vegas are putting up warehouse everywhere. California, they're putting up these big ass warehouses, man. Huge warehouses. Like 100+ door docks. Dock doors and shit like that. Excuse me. Um, but they know something we don't know. And that's what sucks, right? Because we're the first ones to find out what goes on, right? As far as because we're trucking, right? We're gonna find out before the consumers. But a lot of things they know is the good old boy club, I think. Because it takes
Oh,
a
yeah.
year or whatever to build a warehouse. What do
Yeah.
they know that they're building all these damn warehouses we don't know?
Yeah.
But again, we'll find out before the consumers. But right here it said that in October it fell by 2%, and then from there September, see it fell 0.9%. Um, crazy. See, everyone wants you to sign up for something. It's always a gimmick. So I don't know, man. I'm kind of bummed out about the after treatment shit.
I am too.
Like
I
that,
man,
that
I was really counting on, you know, a real U-turn. I mean, that really like, man, was really looking forward to a bigger change than that. I mean, that's at least it's something, but something's always better
well,
than nothing. But
it's a big change, but the thing is, it's a change that we're
yeah,
not going to feel.
nah,
Like in
because it's still
2027, we
there.
were all the way going to be screwed, huh?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah.
we were.
So if we would have waited until 2027, that all went in place, and then they'd rolled that back, would have seen a big change. But yeah, as of today, man, we don't see a big change, bro. A software change. I mean, in a way, that's a big deal, right? That dev shit, like that dev shit is costly. And think about it, 8,400 miles you can run with your dev system being all funky and weird. I mean, that's a big savings.
Yeah.
You know, let me see what the guys are saying in the comments. There are a bunch of things that can be built and stored and then shipped to order. For example, doesn't make a new receiver every year anymore, so they can sit in a warehouse and sprinter van. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a blind man. That
See
when
what?
I hear recession, I I think we're in a not a recession, but a transition. A spin on words and it's that right there how these companies are approaching business now. Everybody's learned from the Amazon model. Store stuff in certain parts of the world and then ship it out once somebody orders it.
Yeah. And something that big that what we went through with the 19 thing. Um, I don't know. A lot of people thought that was going to stay like that forever,
Yeah, they did.
but yeah, man. So deletions will stay illegal.
Ah. Oh man.
they can change it down the road. They're doing a lot of changes to cars too. I didn't realize it, but cars manufacturer, they're going through a lot of bullshit too, bro. Trump did a whole meeting,
Mm-hmm.
CEO from Ford and GMC and what's that dude from Texas, Ted Cruz? He was there. A lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, he's trying to help the car manufacturer right now because so first of all, a lot of that stuff was made out of state, out of the country, and now they're bringing it
Right.
back to the country.
Right.
And Ford said they're going to invest $5 billion into the United States of doing more manufacturing out here, and GMC I think said they're going to do 15 or something like that. But it's going to get greater later. But big moves take time,
Mm-hmm.
and we're trying to make big moves plus fix some shit you don't agree with. Now, regardless where you guys fall in politics, I don't give a fuck. I'm just telling you what's out there on social media, right? But he's trying to fix a lot of stuff that he disagree with, and he's trying to make moves, man. It just takes time. And you know the craziest thing, Green?
What's
By the
that?
time everything blows up and is the greatest thing ever, and he'll be out of office. Is that crazy?
Yeah.
So the next president will be the best and greatest. The next president, whoever gets elected, when all this Trump shit hits for that next president, that guy most likely get reelected because he's gonna live off what Trump's doing right now. It's like the first year that Trump was in office, we were still under that Biden control bullshit, right? Waiting for things to expire, trying to get things to change up and all that stuff. But yeah, let me see if I can find that shit. And forever we keep hearing about that stupid $2,000 Trump check or some shit. Like who gives a fuck?
Nah.
Like, I mean, I don't really give a fuck. I care more about what are you doing for my taxes and
Yeah, me too.
like stuff like that. I don't give a fuck. $2,000 comes and goes, bro.
I'm steadily watching that IRS abolishment, man.
Right.
That's what I. That's what I was like. Come on, let's talk. But nah.
Let me see what I can find real quick. Let me see. No, this ain't automatic setup, so I don't know what they're gonna say. So let's find this out. This will have audio to it. My son got on here. He's saying my second screen is showing audio. That's why it's dubbing you guys. But I don't know.
The Trump administration has decided to eliminate the IRS free online tax filing program called Direct File.
Yeah, they made that announcement last week. So what can you do if you rely on that service? NBC 10 responds. Valeria Ponte Feliciano is here to explain.
Okay, so they got rid of that.
Ladies, Direct File was created during the Biden administration.
Now it's created in the Biden administration, right?
Do not get a consolidation loan until you see this. Hey, Mario Lopez here, and if you're thinking about getting a consolidation,
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And of course, here's your meme of the day, brought to you by 5mind.com. Well, you know, they said that it couldn't be done.
Out of the tariffs because we've taken
Team ahead.
next year is projected to be the largest tax refund season ever. And we're going to be giving back refunds out of the tariffs because we've taken in literally trillions of dollars. And we're going to be given
Ball game, and it sounds unrealistic. But then you stop and do some basic math and you realize, wait a second, I know the media is screaming impossible. focus targeting those making less than
$150,000
a year, it's actually not that crazy. Right now, we're talking about tariff revenues. I think they say 2.1 trillion, but those making 150K a year are less a year or less. Are saying, oh, we're going to reduce taxes. We're going to eliminate them.
All right, I can't do that dude no more. I watched it. I think it was on Facebook or some shit. Here it is. Maybe this
President
is it.
Trump isn't just talking about tax relief. He's talking about rewriting the whole tax code.
Next year is projected to be the largest tax refund season ever. And we're going to be giving back refunds out of the tariffs because we've taken in literally trillions of dollars. And we're going to be giving a nice dividend to the people. The money.
So I did hear that they're taking in trillions of dollars. See, when I Googled, it said billions. So they're taking in trillions of dollars from what he said. When that shit gets released, man, that's gonna be crazy.
What we're taking in is so great, it's so enormous that you're not gonna have income tax to pay. Whether you get rid of it or just keep it around for fun or have it really low, much lower than it is now, but you won't be paying income tax.
So what do you think about that, driver?
Hey man, if the only thing that caught my attention was rewriting the tax, you know, I'm all for that. Rewrite it, man. You know, I'm one of those guys that wants flat tax. You know, just
really
whatever you make. Yeah, I'm that way. You know what you got to pay. Well, when it comes to equality, but I like the system that is in place right now when it comes to business. Okay, but yeah, if we were gonna go for an equal, then just throw a flat tax out there, and everybody's gonna have to pay, you know, a percentage out of whatever they generate.
But the crazy thing is what I like, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it goes beyond taxes, right? So again, Trump said they've collected trillions of dollars or they have tariffs, right? Google said they only collected like billions of dollars. Trump just said trillions, right? So I'm glad I played this because I thought I was losing my brains for a second. But he's saying they're collecting so much on tariffs, they're going to rewrite it where nobody pays taxes. Now, here's the thing on that. I thought
it was okay. Go ahead.
But here's the thing on that, right? We need tax money for schools, police departments, and all that. But what's bigger, our taxes or the money they're collecting from tariffs for taxes? I'll replay it real quick so we can rehear it. But what the thing is, whatever's bigger, I think is better for us. But let's play it real quick. Fuck. Dude, I was playing it the whole time. I wasn't even sharing it. God damn, I fucked up. I'm sitting here all quiet. You didn't tell me nothing.
No, I was checking my audio. I thought I dropped the the signal. I was like, man, what's going on?
I'm sitting here watching the whole thing, bro, and I didn't even have it up, man. I do that shit sometimes. Hang on. I'm gonna play real quick. Remember, it's gonna echo you, so be careful.
Next year is projected to be the largest tax refund season ever. And we're going to be giving back refunds out of the tariffs because we've taken in literally trillions of dollars. and we're going to be giving a nice dividend to the people. The money we're taking in is so great, it's so enormous that you're not going to have income tax to pay. Whether you get rid of it or just keep it around for fun or have it really low, much lower than it is now, but you won't be paying income tax.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Welcome to the Big Money Show. I'm Dagan McDowell, along with my co-hosts, Taylor Riggs, Brian Benberg, Jackie DeAngelis, and with us for this hour, Great Hill Capital Chairman Thomas Hayes. Great to see you. Not only is the White House promising Americans a lucrative tax refund season, it says, the president, that they can expect Americans tariff dividend checks as well. But no more federal income taxes feels like a pipe dream. The president insists that his tariff windfall is big enough to fund the government, cut the deficit, and still put money back in the pockets of voters.
There you have that.
Yeah, see, so the Fed, he's talking the Fed, so you would still have state, whatever state you live in. So you'd have to figure out what your state.
Which state does the funds the police department, fire department, schools, and all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah, so there's a lot of crazy. I mean, there's a lot of big things happening, man, with everything. Like the automakers. Let me see if I can find the one where he met up with the automakers. Let's see. Is it this one? I don't know if it's this one. We'll find out.
Half the picture.
Wait till the people see the benefits and the lower taxes that they're going to have, lower regulations. So how about Ford?
Mr. President and Secretary, all the important lawmakers here, competitors, today is a victory of common sense and affordability. We're very proud of Ford to be the #1 auto producer in our country. 80% of the vehicles we sell here, we make in our country.
Right.
And we never left, unlike many of our competitors. We're the #1 exporter, and we have the most auto factory workers. And this CAFE standard that is aligned with customer demand is the right move for a lot of reasons.
This ain't what I'm looking for. That was part of it, but they cut a lot of it out. They cut out Trump's speech. Here it is right here. So here's the full version.
Well, we're talking about CAFE standards, a very big deal, very important. Today, my administration is taking historic action to lower costs for American consumers, protect American auto jobs, and make buying a car much more affordable for countless American families and also safer. We're officially terminating Joe Biden's ridiculously burdensome, horrible, actually, CAFE standards that impose expensive restrictions and all sorts of problems, gave all sorts of problems to automakers. And we're not only talking about here, we're talking about outside of our country, because nobody could do it. Nobody wanted to do it, and it was ridiculous, very expensive. It put tremendous upward pressure on car prices, combined with the insane electric vehicle mandate.
What up, the good brother?
Some regulations help cause the price of cars to soar more than 25%. And in one case, they went up 18% in 1 year. Today, we're taking one more step to kill the Green New scam. It's part of the greatest scam, probably, well, other than Russia, and a few others I could name. The greatest scam in American history, the Green New scam. And it's a quest to end the gasoline-powered car. This is what they wanted to do, even though we have more gasoline than any other country by far. And people want the gasoline car. They want everything. They want electric. They want to have lots of alternatives, but they do want the gasoline car. Right now, it's leading away by a lot. The car business is a very interesting business, but we want to keep it that way. I want to thank Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, Deputy Transportation Secretary Stephen Bradbury, as well as CEO of Ford, Jim Farley. Jim, where is Jim? Let's see. Hi, Jim. Congratulations. You're doing a great job. CEO of Stellantis, Antonio Filosa. Thank you very much, Antonio. Chairman of the National Automobile Dealers Association, Tom Castrita.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Tom. Great to have you. And Manager of General Motors Orient Plant, John Urbanek.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Great to have you guys here. And you're going to say a few words in a minute about how ridiculous this was, but we've just freed you up. So
you're making a lot of changes to the car manufacturers.
Thanks as well to Senator Shelley Moore Capito, Ted Cruz, Kevin Kramer, Marsha Blackburn, Eric Schmidt, and Bernie Marino and it's driving the cost through the roof. And we revoked Biden's emissions waiver for California so that California communists could not regulate the automobile industry and ruin the entire nation of automobiles. And they were doing that too. But we have that now under control also with the governor who's got much more than he can control. Now, under the new rules being issued today by Secretary Duffy, the Department of Transportation will rescind
Duffy's going to speak.
Economy prices. And I hate to say that because they were really not economy. They were really, they were anti-economy. They were horrible what they were doing to the costs and actually making the car much worse. But these policies forced automakers to build cars using expensive technologies that drove up costs, drove up prices, and made the car much worse. The action is expected to save the typical consumer at least $1,000 off the price of a new car, and we think substantially more.
Come on, bro.
Under the Trump administration, $70 billion are now being invested in the American auto industry.
Really quick, good brother. You need to come in on time to figure out what's going on. You can't disrupt the show asking what's going on now. But here's what we're not talking about. We're not talking about lease drivers. So you can relax, take a breath. It's not about lease drivers.
Ford has announced it will invest $5 billion across its Kentucky and Michigan plants. Is that a correct statement?
That's right.
That's a lot, $5 billion. You could do more. Creating at least 4,000 new jobs. Stellantis announced it will invest $13 billion to expand its U.S.-based manufacturing by more than 50% and open new manufacturing facilities across the country. And I think a big part of that is also the tariffs. Because of tariffs, they're coming in. Not only the automobile industry, AI, we're leading China in AI, we're leading everybody in AI, we're leading everybody in everything. We have the hottest country right now. I will tell you, a lot of political people behind me, great political people, very successful political people. We have the hottest country anywhere in the world.
I want to talk. He's just bullshit.
Per gallon standard.
I want you guys to hear about
people
that.
Because of what we did with Duffy, it's going to work great. All of the nonsense is being taken out of the cars. So, Secretary Duffy, could you say a few words?
Thank you, Mr. President. So yesterday at the cabinet meeting, the president was talking about affordability, and the way that Democrats talk about affordability is a lie. Today is a perfect example of that. So these CAFE standards used what was contrary to the law. The Congress set a rule that says you have to look at combustion engines. Biden and Buttigieg actually did an analysis using
Edge.
Buttigieg used EVs and hybrids to come up with a 62 mile an hour per gallon standard, which I think the car companies will tell you is completely unattainable. So they spent a lot of money on technology trying to meet the unattainable standard, driving up the cost of a car, number one. And then number two, if they couldn't meet the unattainable standard, they had to trade for carbon, costing billions of dollars, and again, driving up the price of the cars. So, Mr. President, what Democrats were doing, we're not making cars more affordable. they're making them less affordable. The consequence of that is going to be that more Americans can afford to buy a new car, which means they're going to be safer on the roads because of all the great new technology we have that save lives. So we'll have less death on American roads. These rules are going to allow the automakers to make vehicles that Americans want to purchase, not vehicles that Joe Biden and Buttigieg wants them to build, which is important. But also, this is important for American jobs. The more cars we sell, the more jobs we have in this country. And so this is jobs, this is freedom, and this is common sense, Mr. President. So thank you for your leadership. And I appreciate what the Senate did with the big, beautiful bill and what we've done here today. So thank you, Mr.
very
President.
much.
So that big, beautiful bill that was passed has a whole lot of stuff in it. So, yeah, so there's a whole lot of shit about these cars that we didn't know that was heading down the pipeline. These manufacturers had to comply with. And all that shit's changed now. So, Ford's doing $5 billion or whatever he said, 4,000 jobs. Like, it's all gonna eventually do a whole full circle where we're gonna see a lot of stuff where the United States is gonna start doing great again. The craziest thing is it gonna be when Trump's still in office, or is it gonna land on the next president? And that's the craziest thing, huh, Green? All this great shit he puts in place, right? Let's say it don't turn full circle until the next president. Let's just say they put old Newsom in for president, right? And all this stuff that's changing, all this stuff's going on right now, and lands on Newsom's lap. That'll guarantee him a re-election.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, he's building all that shit up for the next guy.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, but yeah, it's crazy. So many things we don't pay attention to. You know, this car shit and the smog stuff and the semi truck, and we don't know until they want to take it back off the table. Like all this stuff he's talking about, they're changing it, and it wasn't even in place yet. It was going to be in place. Think about that, man. How things would have been in 2027, 2028 with these cars, man. Especially 2030, man. 2030 was going to be a bat to the head situation. So what's your opinion? What you heard? How do you when you heard this, what's your take on all this, you think?
Well, I mean, California, as they said, we've been hit with this stuff years ago, and it's just been escalating and escalating and escalating, and they just keep changing the rules and the laws and all that stuff. So, that's why I made the decisions that I made, because I wanted to see where we were going to be at in the next 2 years. So it doesn't surprise me. They've been on this since 2008, 2010.
Yeah.
We've been seeing this.
Yeah. Just there's a lot of changes happening that the media doesn't cover. Like all this right here, this ain't on national TV news. You have to go to certain places to even find some of this stuff to listen to what's going on. And it's crazy how social media is.
Well, with the conversations that I have in the circles that I'm in, that's what I've always told people, is that, they don't know the effect of the decisions that it's had on us, especially in the trucking industry, because our industry it goes around the truck. The truck is the focus. Other people have buildings. We don't have buildings. We have a vehicle that, runs up and down, and these emissions were hitting us very, very hard. And then for them to impose electric and natural gas and all that, it was wild, man. It was a wild ride.
Yeah, no, I mean, especially us being in California, bro. Like, I mean, you see it all before anybody else does.
Yeah, I mean, I was dealing with natural gas, what, 2010? I've already
Yeah.
gone through natural gas. So, I mean, we're in 2025 right now. I was dealing with that in 2010. This, you know,
Yeah. I'm
yeah.
gonna give a little bit of a preview of one of my videos that's on members only is gonna come out publicly. You know what's so funny?
Mm.
You know what's good? So here it is right here. So here's what this YouTube Studios looks like when we're putting things together. We can do end screens, cards, all that stuff. See, some members only. See my AI picture I made? I deserve a CDO.
Fucking better. No longer meet federal standards and will expire within 60 days. But the immigrant drivers I spoke to say the California DMV is mistaken and not adhering to their work permits. Gurman Singh from India is in his 11th year as a truck.
Wow, 11
So,
years.
yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna do the whole thing because the video's coming out probably tomorrow. But there's a lot of people in Bakersfield on here talking and everything else, bro. It's crazy. So yeah, people. So pretty much what goes on is people came here and they didn't try to become a resident or none of that stuff, right? They come in here on visas. And they just want to make the money so they can get out. People have been here for 11 years, right? And the whole, I mean, what I thought was people come here to become a citizen,
Yeah.
right? Well, that's just what I think. But people just want to come here and grab the money and they don't spend it here. They spend it in their own country, which makes their own country greater. And, it sucks when you take money from another country. So people have been here for like 11 years and they're on visas now. Their work visas for, their CDL is not going to work with their work visa no more. So to have a commercial driver's license now, you have to be legit now just with the visa. So you have 60 days, and that 60 days ends in January. And it's California drivers, 17,000. And a lot of it, Green, is in Bakersfield, bro.
Yeah.
But
Well, yeah, we cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna be releasing it right tomorrow. But yeah, bro, a lot of it's in Bakersfield. Remember the ports up there in Oakland, all that kind of stuff, and they're all going on strike. And they were complaining about the rates, like they were really willing for like $1 a mile kind of shit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so a lot of mess up there. So I think that's important, man. So we just try to keep our ears to the ground in this trucking shit, see what the hell goes on. Especially right now, towards the end of the year, what I've been trying to find out is what changes are we seeing in January? And my whole thing is, what are we gonna look like in 2026? You know. So far, what I've learned is, which I mean, people from what I hear, again, I don't have the boards, but from what I hear, they don't see the loads on the boards like they used to. But my thing is, are the loads all still there? They just have a rate to where it has a blind eye to it. You know what I mean? Like if all the loads on the board right now said $10 a mile, it wouldn't be a blind eye, right? So people would pay attention to every single load on the board. That's why I got to buy the board. I keep saying I'm going to do it and look at it and shit, but I never get some time.
I bought it all for the last 2 months, and I'm gonna tell you right now, there ain't nothing there. Not for what we do, not for what we're looking for. Nah, there ain't nothing there, man. I watched it for 2 months straight.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's loads there, but it's not. It's I don't know. It depends on
Well, that's what
what.
I'm trying to find. That's what I'm trying to find out. Are the loads there? Just the rates suck? Like, that's what I'm trying to find out. Are the
No,
loads
it's
still there?
50-50. It's 50-50. There's loads there, and then some of them the rates are no good. But see, all this stuff right here that's taking place, it's gonna correct itself because like you'll see loads going from like Illinois to California, and they only want to pay 98 cents a mile. That's ridiculous. But what we're finding out is, all these guys are running, and they don't have the overhead that we have. So it's all gonna right itself, man, because that's ridiculous. In 2025, a load going for 98 cents a mile. I mean, I don't know if what is the word trolling? I don't know if that's trolling. You know what I mean? Is that a joke? I mean, when I see a load going for 98 cents a mile, I think, man, is this dude just joking to get you to call? But if somebody's running that for 98 cents a mile, what you got coming, you deserve it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with
I don't feel for
Amazon,
them.
and I don't know if I'm still updated or I can get into it, whatever. I'm just curious, but a lot of this click and go crap, I mean, that's what it looks like, you know. And it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. But I expected it. I called that shit some years ago. This shit was gonna happen. But again, like what you said, and you're absolutely correct. You know, how does it's like dropping something in the water that floats, right? When it drops in the water, it's gonna go down further than it needs to go. That's the rates. But eventually, whatever that is going to float is going to pop up and level off higher than where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing. That's what this leveling off is supposed to be all about. So it's way high during the CV19, and then it drops way down, like where it's ridiculous, and then it's got to find its spot, man, a sweet spot, and level off. And the crazy thing is this, I think, and this is just an opinion, this is not factual. My opinion is where it levels off is controlled by us of what we will accept.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the other problem is because what I found out and what I didn't understand was so there was no way that I could predict it is trying to understand what was going on. Well, now we're seeing that manufacturing is outside of we knew that manufacturing was outside. I just didn't know how much manufacturing was outside of the United States of America with Canada and with Mexico. So now you got these guys coming in from Canada bringing products, right, over the border. So they come in, they deliver wherever, California, Tennessee, Washington, wherever they're delivering, right? And then you get these loads leaving out of California for $1 whatever per mile. Let's just say $1. Well, because they're trying to get back to Canada, so they don't even care because their money's coming out of Canada and coming in. Well, all that stuff stopping, and that's why I speak, transition instead of recession, is that because that's going to transfer. It's going to transfer back to us. When? I don't know that timeline, but I'm watching for it.
So we heard that the CEOs speak about 4 to 80% right now. I'm sure they get this from him, right? So 80%, but he said everybody else is worse. So let's say GMC.
Yeah.
Or Dodge.
I seen a a table, right? A map or whatever, a graph, and it was
Yeah.
talking about through the years of how much um, manufacturing throughout the years, how it has left the United States. It's crazy, man. When you really see it and you see it right before your eyes.
Yeah, look at this. Around 36 to 49% is Canada parts.
Yeah,
That's half the car.
yeah. Well, those are the components because what they're doing is being built outside and then they're shipped into here, and then all we do is assemble.
Right.
We just put it together. So it is a very big. It may not sound like a big number, but it's big.
Oh shit, this is worse. Dodge around 69 to 73%.
Yeah.
And the Chargers and Challenger models are built in Canada. Is that crazy?
It's very crazy. See, I never paid attention to it, because it never. I didn't deal with that. We were always dealing with export.
Right.
We weren't dealing with import.
And that's what he's trying to stop.
It's exactly what he's trying to stop.
So think about that. Dodge is 69 to 73%. Now that when that gets cut down, because I remember, as far as I can remember, we never did 100%, but we'd see 5% Mexico and 8% or 10% Canada, some stupid shit like that. But now it's 50%, 70%. What are we talking about? Pop Tart says it's wet, rainy, cold, windy, nasty outside today, and the poor cows are just standing in the rain mooing. Yeah, they're built for that. But yeah, man. So I didn't know that the popular Chargers and Challengers are made in Canada.
I didn't either. I did not either, man.
Yeah, and that's what everybody wants.
Yeah, and it makes sense to me. The
So
freight.
So there's a lot that when I say us, I don't mean you. Remember, I'm talking about people watching, right?
Mhm.
But a lot of us don't pay attention to a lot of things like this, right? And social media and news is trying to just lead us to believe whatever the hell we want to believe. And what that does, that puts a hatred towards a positive change.
Mhm.
But if people just did their own research, like we're showing people today, right? They just do their own research.
Yeah.
And look at all this. Then go back and listen to that Trump speaking with the Ford dude and everybody else. Then you have an understanding of man, this is some serious stuff. This is a big deal. But to us, we're like, man, I don't make cars. I don't sell cars. I don't care about that. But that's a big, big deal.
It's a very
All
big
those
deal.
car parts we could be hauling.
That's right.
All those car parts we can be manufacturing. That's huge, bro. Think about how many parts is on one car, one make of a car.
And then the other argument that you hear is people will say, well, who wants to be in manufacturing? Who wants to work in a warehouse all day? I'm not speaking about that. What I'm speaking is I'm in transportation. I move product from point A to point B. That's how I generate my funds, from moving product from point A to point B.
Yeah.
And that's what I care about. I don't care about who wants to work and who doesn't. That people don't want to work. That's their prerogative, man.
And the
But I
crazy
move
thing is,
product.
things that are made and things that are built, one time or another, we will touch a truck.
That's right. I do transport.
What's your timeline of? I'll call you and ask you.
All right.
But yeah, we've been on this thing 2 hours, man. I appreciate you, Green, and your input on a lot of things, and I'm real curious to see what 2026 brings, and
Me too.
I'm real curious of what the 2025 numbers look like, and I think 2025 is going to be horrible.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I don't know what 2026 is gonna be like. I know what I want it to be like, but I really don't know. And that's why I
yeah.
made the decisions that I made. I'm specifically watching 2026 and 2027. Those are the two key years that I'm looking at. I'm watching, and that move in January is very, very big and crucial. Going into next year, by what, February, March, by that second quarter, we're gonna really see just how much those individuals impacted the trucking market.
Look at
That's
this.
what I
Can you
want
see?
to see. Hmm.
Yep. Yeah. No. Same here, man. That's why. That's why I was looking into like the semi truck manufacturing, like when I'm talking about 2027, right? And the software
Hmm.
stuff. Like I'm trying to look further in the years because I'm trying to figure things out, right? And a lot of information's out there, but again, there's a lot of changings happening that people aren't speaking of, and so we're gonna sit back and write it out and see where it goes. And what I would tell people is just bulletproof yourself for whatever. Now, can you see this guy's comment?
Nah, I can't see no comments. What's up?
I highlighted it, so I'm gonna read it.
Hmm.
There's no way we're truckers and we're not paying attention to the politics of the country that affects us constantly and quicker than any other industry. Well,
There's
he's saying truckers. There's no way truckers are not paying attention to the
there's no way.
politics. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know what to say on that, bro.
I don't either. I mean, I don't know. It's a very uh strong statement, but I don't know. Like, I I, I mean, I pay attention, but I don't pay attention. I pay attention more to the business side, and I like with these EPA regulations, you know. But we're in a whole nother, like, literally, like what they say, California is a whole different country in itself. You know what I mean? With our
Yeah,
with our carb and all that stuff. So we're jumping through hoops that the rest of the nation doesn't have to jump through. And so,
correct.
yeah, our business decisions, my business decisions are going to be totally different than somebody who's from Tennessee. The principles stay the same, like I always say, but you're not dealing with, in Tennessee, you're not dealing with port that says you can only have a 2015 and it can't have, over 600,000 miles, which I think they got rid of that stipulation. But, that's a hoop, man, that you got to jump through. And then you're trying to decide whether or not you want to rebuild your engine and your truck has 900,000 miles. What are you going to pay, 20 something thousand, 20 to 30 grand to rebuild an engine when the place that you're working at is going to tell you, no, you can't use it no more? But I think that they did away with that, right?
I haven't heard anything different.
I think they did. I think they did away with that mileage stipulation that they had,
Yeah.
but yeah,
But no, it was ridiculous
it's
because
very,
that
very
that was
ridiculous.
that was that was where they were going. First, they were
Yeah,
saying 900,000, and there's gonna be less and less. And what they were trying to do is push everybody to new electric trucks.
yeah.
That's what the
You
whole
know,
idea of that is.
and exactly. And for the argument that people always say, when getting back to the train, is that was their reason behind it, was to push that agenda for electric and for natural gas vehicles, trucks, class 8 trucks, so that they can only do that 150, what is it, 300-mile radius. That's it. So anything within 150 miles one way of a terminal, whether that be a a harbor, whether that be a train, a depot, you know, that was their whole agenda, was to push that and then put these loads on these trains and get them from from the west coast to the east coast to the Midwest. You know what I mean? And then guys would come in with their electric truck that can only go 100 miles, 150 top. See, there's way more stuff than just what's out there that we see. That's the stuff that I'm waking up to. Is I'm starting to realize and see that there was a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that we did not see. Like all these foreigners with all these commercial licenses. I didn't know that. I mean, I seen it, but I didn't know those numbers. But yeah, man, it's gonna be interesting.
And for you guys that don't know about the port stuff, man, like they even did some stuff like, so if you bring a load in, that's one transaction. And then if you want to grab an
Remember
empty
that?
or load out, that's a second transaction.
Remember
These
that?
freaking these terminals even got it to where, we're only doing one transaction on Fridays.
One transaction on Fridays.
Like,
yes.
what the hell?
Yeah. And you got a $200,000 truck. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. But yeah, man, it's gonna be interesting to see what goes on next year in 2027. I'm waiting. I want to see.
So here it is. Let me pull this up with you. Let's see. Well, I ain't doing that because I'll give out my information. Look, established in where? 2008. Clean truck program.
The clean truck program. Yeah, man. That's why I said been dealing with this since 2008, 2010.
Here's the craziest shit, bro.
Already been down that path.
Yeah, how many times have we had to replace trucks because of the port?
Oh man,
that's why I was like, "Fuck the port,
California,
man."
right?
Let me show you guys how far back this goes. At one time when they first started the guidelines, they said you had a 2005 and newer. We all went and got the 2005 and newer, and that's when I got that Kenworth T2000. And then from there, you had to have a 2008 or newer, then a 10.
Yeah.
Then it jumped to a 14. Like, we've been replacing trucks for forever. For a lot of people, are still trying to figure out how to buy a truck.
Oh man, yeah, man. But we will see what next year brings.
This whole page is crap. But I can't find out. Let's see what this is. Oh shit! The hell? You still there, Green?
Yeah, I'm here.
Bro, my whole computer on my main screen, so I'm doing some weird shit when I jumped on that. All kinds of crap just popped up.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, I can't see my screen or nothing right now. Hang on.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Yeah, they done. Yeah, I'm getting off that shit, man, because they done popped it on my other screen and everything.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, hang on a second. I'm back. That was crazy, bro. Like all kinds of pop-ups started happening and weird that shit was happening. I'm like, I'm getting the fuck off of that shit. 3 or 4 drivers took one truck. What? 3 or 4 drivers took one truck. These foreigners, I see it out here.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
2026, if they don't have their money right, it's going to put people out of business. Well, that's always though. Well, I'm gonna hit you on the line there, driver. See what our time frame looks like.
Okay.
So, what would you want to tell the folks, man, before I get off?
Oh no, man, nothing, man.
Speak some
That
knowledge
was.
in these people.
I don't know, man. It just wait to see what's gonna happen on 26 and 27. If you don't already have your stuff in order, 26, 27. The one thing that I'm looking for is that oil field in Texas. It still hasn't jumped off. What it was, and another question is, will it jump off? You know, and
So, you know the dude that had the super sleeper, right? Don't mention his name, but
yes,
you know what I'm talking about because of my house.
yes.
He's got a buddy in the oil field,
Hmm.
and I'll tell you offline what he's making per week. It'll blow you away.
Okay.
It's so unbelievable. I can't even believe it. I'm like, you seen some kind of something to prove this? He goes, yeah. We'll talk about it more, but yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. But
I was
I'm
like,
not
shit, if
even
that's the
talking.
case, yeah.
Right. I'm not talking like to go over there and go work. What I'm saying is once they start, digging in the ground, and we see that product come into our market, where we could see our fuel prices start to reflect that, then that's that trickle down effect that everybody talks about. It's like once that goes down, then people start going places, people start buying, then we get that supply and demand. It's a process that still needs to take place that I'm not seeing yet, and that's uh, one of the keys that I'm looking for, that I'm not seeing yet. You know, uh, Fuel is still up there. I mean, nowhere's not like California. $5 a mile. I mean, a mile, a gallon, $5 a mile. Woo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the thing is, us truckers, right? We're gonna see the correction before consumers do. We'll see it first.
Right. If you know what to look for, correct.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I'm looking for. I'm waiting to see what that does, and but I'm not talking about going over there to go to the oil field and all that. No. I like the pavement. I like the concrete. I like the blacktop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the whole thing is, man, shit, send some trucks over and send some drivers over there. You can be on the pavement all you want
Yeah. No, you're right. You can
if the money's right.
if the money's right. No, you're right. You're right. You can.
So
But I'm just saying, I'm not looking at that as if I want to go over there. I'm looking at it
yeah,
because I want to see the reflection in the fuel prices. Because once we see that, people start having extra money, and these taxes, these federal income taxes, they're a big deal, man. You know,
you know,
and
you know what we didn't see this time on the Trump thing when we seen what we saw last time.
mhm.
When he got in office, the first thing he did was bought up everybody's oil and filled up our reserves and all that stuff. I didn't
Yeah,
hear no talk about that this time.
yeah. No, he did. You're right.
And that man, that was a good thing, man. We're getting fuel at good prices.
Yes, we were. And
So
then when that dummy came in, he sold it to all those other countries, and then put it into the market. Got during He did it during election times, and so when they were campaigning, they would say, "Look at the fuel prices. We brought it down." Yeah, for what? For not even 30 days. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So that
that's why.
for anybody who's listening that doesn't think that impacts the market, you know, that's been proven right there. That's what that guy did. He took that oil fund that Trump had built up, and what I mean, and sold it to other countries to make a profit, and then they took that money, and they do their little weird stuff, and then he flooded the market during a campaign time and brought the prices down, and everybody and they said, look, look at this, look at this. You know, and it got a lot of people. So we'll see.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna see, man. But I'm curious about 20. I'm ready for 2026. Shit, I'm putting things in place. But I appreciate all you guys watching, man. Make sure you guys hit the like button on the way out, showing attendance, and don't forget to watch the video that will be coming off members only. It's interesting. So the title is about 17,000 California CDL holders losing it. But the crazy thing on the video, the reason why I'm putting it, is the stories of the truckers. 11 years with a CDL. Like a lot.
Wow,
The stories.
11 years?
Yeah, bro. The stories you got to hear on this video of the people in Bakersfield and different places. Yeah, bro. The stories I want you guys to watch, not just the 17,000 CDL, license holders, man. The stories, bro. You'll trip.
So who does that go back to? If so, this guy had a license for 11 years and he was not a U.S. citizen. He was on
Right.
that.
Yeah.
So so if we go back, man, I wonder who was in office during those times when these guys had this stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
But not just that. Thinking about the livelihoods is changing people's lives, bro. Now, my whole thing, man, is when you come into our industry, do it the right way. But 11 years ago, that was the right way. 5 years ago, that was the right way. But see, this is why I try to tell people, man, when you come to this country, become a U.S. citizen because now you have the rights of a U.S. citizen. And until you take that leap forward for that, you don't have the rights as a U.S. citizen. And that's where the blurred lines are.
Yeah.
I've been here for 20 years. Are you a U.S. citizen? No. Okay.
Yeah. Then no, you don't. Yeah. I mean, you don't
That's
have
the
that.
same. That's the same as you're a 1099 independent contractor driver or somebody for 20 years. Do you got the same rights as a W-2?
No, you don't.
So, same kind of scenario, man. Get right, people. Get right. Because shit. And we don't know who's going to be the next president. Shit, it's going to be crazy. But anyway, I'm going to get off this thing before we get on another topic. I'm going to hit you right.
All
I'm
right,
going to hit you right now. Okay, Green?
Okay, man. All right.
Have a good weekend, guys.